In this video, we will talk about a flex counting principle related to make-ready waste. Um, in a lot of machines, we have both a gross counter and a good counter, and there is an interesting um, phenomena that happens when flex starts up. It will start counting at the beginning of a run everything that comes through the gross counter. And those counts typically are thrown away as the machine is being set up at the start of the count. So the good counter doesn't increment up, but the gross counter does as product goes up the conveyor. And as more counts go through the machine, the operator will start looking and checking to see that he has good counts. So let's just say that first good count starts coming through the gross counter. He's been throwing away everything else up to that point. And let's assume that this is his true make-ready count. He threw away 100 make-ready signatures or units, which was his initial 100 waste, and that's exactly how many came through the counter, gross counter. And then we have this case of a StartOfJobFill, which, let's say the length of this conveyor takes 150 units to fill up. So that will start to happen as good units are coming through the machine. The conveyor starts to fill up. And let's assume right before that first good one hits the stacker under the good counter, um, right before that first unit hits, we would see the 150 counts added up through the gross counter as it fills the conveyor. All of that looks like waste when in fact it's all really good. It just hasn't gotten to the good counter yet. And Flex DMI can only count make ready while it's in a make ready state. So while the yellow light's on and it thinks it's in a make ready, it's assuming all these are going to be, all 250 are make ready waste. But in fact, 150 of those were required to fill up the conveyor. But that gets frozen in time. So then as we move forward in time, and we've been running for quite a bit, we get up to the 350 mark, which is right when the last good SIG starts to leave that machine through the gross counter. At that point, the gross counter will stop. It will be frozen at 600 counts. And now we're going to go through what we call the end of job clear out. And there's 150 counts that are going to come up and go through the good counter and count up until we hit our target of 500 good. As the good counter increments up and the gross counter is frozen, the only thing that can possibly happen to waste is it has to go down. So if we run all the way up to 500, we would see the 150 get taken off the calculated waste, because the difference between gross and good has to be waste. The problem is that the make-ready states remain at 250 counts. That was kind of frozen in time because that's what Flex saw, the DMI recorded during the make-ready. And that's really the point of the start of job fill, is when we report make-ready waste, we have to account for the start of job fill. So that's how we go into the Flex editor, and there's a parameter for each machine which records. In some cases the gross and good would be spread pretty far apart. Maybe it's 150. Other machine, maybe it's a shorter conveyor, so it's only 110. It can be calibrated to get as close as possible so that we see accurate make-ready waste. And keep in mind, this is all related to having a good counter. So it's make ready to run on the first good count. If that checkbox is checked, it means you must have a good sensor. Not all machines have good sensors. For example, sheet-fed presses don't have good sensors. Some laminators and other folders and whatnot only have a gross counter. In that case, Flex has a parameter for transitioning from make ready to run based on a consecutive number of counts. Start of job fill should be set close to that number if you have this case where there's no good counter and you don't have this box checked. So again, if you're using this parameter to go to run, that's going to set the start of job fill so you have a more accurate understanding what your true make ready waste is. So if we look at the results of this on the auto report, clearly we're talking about how we report the make ready waste in the machine, and it has to be a component of the total waste. Total waste is make ready waste plus run waste. So in this case, Fortunately, we see the case that start of job fill must be pretty accurate. The impact of not having start of job fill accurate is that you're going to see some strange, inaccurate make-ready results. So in the example that we just followed, let's assume that it really is 150. We made 500 good count, had a total of 100 waste, and there was absolutely no run waste. All of it was make-ready waste. So in this case, this is accurate. Here's examples of if we had set the start of job fill too short, only said there was 50, what that would do is increase the total amount of make-ready waste reported. And in this case, it would obviously be wrong. We'd start to see make-ready waste being greater than the total waste on the job, which would indicate start of job fill is too low. If we went up a little higher than we should, that would also create an error. In this particular case, it reports lower make-ready waste and makes the run waste look higher. And you can keep going in that same route. And if you jacked up start of job fill to 300, we eventually clip. We won't go to negative make-ready waste, but it basically would say everything was run waste. So obviously start of job fill is a very important concept that you want to make sure is accurate as possible. So the key concept is reporting accurate make-ready waste is definitely important, especially in short-run plants where a lot of setups happen. The Flex-DMI can only record make-ready state counts when the yellow light's on or when the machine's in a make-ready, which basically is the gross pulses during the make-ready state. There's usually some type of a delay from the gross counter to the good counter during the startup, and that's really where start of job fill comes into play. Make-ready waste that's reported through Flex on the Flex reports is the total make-ready state counts minus the start of job fill. And if the start of job fill is not accurate for a machine, then the make-ready waste also will not be accurate.